I'm Charlie Bright of Gold Derby, and today I'm speaking with Kelly and Sarah Schneider, the creators of the HBO Max show The Other Two, who also serve as showrunners. First question, I'm going to throw this to you, Chris, is I want to ask is, how did the COVID-19 pandemic affect the shooting of season 2?
Dog barking right away. It really affected it. I mean, we got shut down in the middle of shooting. So we shot maybe 4 episodes or so, and then we got shut down in the middle of a scene in Central Park and then stopped for 1 full year and then started back up again. So it was weird. I mean, it was obviously bad, but then in some ways it was sort of nice because we shot out of order. So we couldn't really do anything for that year. There was no rewriting or cutting or changing anything. We couldn't overthink anything because the show is so serialized and everything is connected to everything. And so we had shot so out of order that we were just like, let's fully pause for 1 year. And everyone did look a lot older when we came back, specifically the child, specifically Case. But I don't know, we just went with it. I don't know, it ended up being what it was, and it worked out in the end.
Yeah, the scene that we stopped shooting after was in the finale, spoiler, but it's been like a year, so it's fine, when Molly is doing that music video. So it was like the most upbeat, like joyful, fully choreographed, colorful music video. And then we'd be like, God, that was so great. Okay, so do we need to shut down? Do we need to get to the airport? It was very...
yeah, the lyrics were, it was to the tune of Footloose, and Molly was singing like, I have a feeling that Monday's gonna be fun. It was just like all about how Monday's gonna be fun. And we were talking about like going to the airports and getting out of the city.
Yeah, Monday is not gonna be here. Monday's gonna be your home.
Is that why, because one of the things I noticed when the second season premiered was that there was no talk about the pandemic, there was no reference to it in anywhere. Is that why? Because it was all and then you got the idea for how that the closing joke in the season finale where it finally gets brought up.
Yeah, we added that, but I think we didn't want to touch the pandemic, also because we were in the middle of living through it, so it's hard to comment on something while you're still in the middle of it, because you don't know what your takeaway is or how you felt about the experience because you were still in the middle of it. And also just because season 2 takes place right after season 1. So theoretically, just logically, if you think about it, we were still technically in 2019. So our characters weren't living through the pandemic. So yeah.
That's what we told ourselves when we like looked back at scripts over that we had written like 2 years earlier to finish the season. We were like, everything will feel fine, right? But it's set in 2019. It's fine. Yeah, you won't notice. You won't care.
So Sarah, I want to ask you, how did you and Chris work out what direction you wanted to take Carey and Brooke to go in for the second season?
Sure. I think we've sort of said this before, but it's the only answer. When we started talking about this season, we knew we wanted them to be comparing themselves to Pat. That was sort of what we like set up their mom at the end of the first season. But then in terms of where they were going to go this season, Chris and I had a lot of conversations of just, we didn't want to do the same season all over again with Pat. And so we didn't think our characters would either. So we were basically just like, we think this season they will refuse a repeat of last season and really buckle down in their own careers and lives and carve out a little bit of success for themselves. And so that was what we did. It was for the characters, but it was also for us because we were like, we don't want to write the same thing over and over. So that was where we landed, just because we wanted the season to feel new and like they had taken a little agency over their lives and grown a little.
Yeah, it was like a lot of how do we keep the DNA of the show and what's working about the show intact, but then not just repeat ourselves and not just make this like a sitcom where they're losers and their brother's famous for 100 episodes, but like if they're smart and ambitious and have seen how this works, they would want to make changes, and we didn't want to just do the same thing over and over again.
Although that sounds real fun now that we're in season 3 and we're like, what's a brand new thing to try?
And that actually is something that I was curious about with the development of where Carey went with, Carey went with the season, because it felt like it was so easy to forget that he is still very newly out of the closet. And we got to see him be very comfortable with the idea of him going, I want to have some fun. I want to go and hook up with some guys. And what was it like, formulating that way of where you were going to take him?
I think it was similar to the season as a whole. Is like we wanted to stay true to the character but push him forward, and so we liked that in season 1 he struggled with his sexuality. My dog is running to bring me a toy to throw her. And so season 2, he would be like, I struggled last year with my sexuality, so this year I'm better. I'm going to be better. And then kind of him learning the ways in which he isn't as better as he thought he was. And so we liked that he would take kind of 2 steps forward, 1 step back. He thinks he's being better and he's not being self-hatey, but he actually is in a way he never thought he could have been. But season 2 is all about him finding success in his career while he found self-confidence. So we have this, like, his butthole comes out, a photo of his butthole spreads around, which is a stupid idea for an episode. It's very base and all these things, but the point of it was a stupid way of showing him owning his sexuality and putting himself out there. And as he got the confidence to put himself out there, quite literally, that paid off with like a career success. So the idea of like, you start to become more successful, the more you know who you are, the more you're comfortable in your own skin. So we kind of wanted him to go and we didn't want him to just be like self-hating all episode. We wanted him to like get out there and I was gonna say spread his wings, and then I was gonna say spread that hole, and I thought, don't do that. So here we are.
That was the pitch process in real time.
So, Sarah, I'll ask this next question to you. Was there a character that it was hard to map out where they were going to go in season 2? That was tough to develop their storyline.
Tough to develop their storyline. I think we maybe had the most trouble nailing down, but then I was really glad with where we landed with Chase, with the kid, because we again didn't want to do just another season of him singing. We had sort of like blown up that at the end of the last season with his performance, and so we really liked where his last season ended. But then starting the second season, we were like, where does that leave us for this character who's a singer, and that's one of the only things we have presented him as, and now he can't do that anymore. So what would be next for this pop star kid? And wanting to make sure it wasn't just obvious, like the obvious thing. And so we took a while, but then we eventually settled on this idea of he's a singer who can't sing, which is the idea of like the Rihannas, the Justin Timberlakes, where actually singing at this point hurts their careers as singers. So once we landed on that, we really liked it, but he was tough to nail down just because we had blown up his whole career.
And it was kind of scary it felt like we were losing the show at first. It felt weird to be like, okay, so Chase can't sing and we're not going to do that, and then there's not going to be music videos, but like we pitched the show as a lot of music videos and stuff. So are people going to be mad, or are we going to be disappointed? Or is it going to feel like it's a different show? But then we were like, no, I think this is smart. I think this is right. I think it's good not to repeat ourselves. We can find the equivalent of music videos in Pat's world. Like, what are the weird, ridiculous, dumb, heightened things that can exist in Pat's world? And let's just force ourselves to find something as funny or as like memorable as the music videos. But for a while that felt very scary. Like, why would we do this? Why would we lose things that were working?
Yeah. Like why we pitched the show. We love to write music videos, so let's stop doing
them.
And Chris, I'll throw this next one to you. Is one of the things that's so genius about the show is the way that it satirizes show business in general, and also just like how we as a society communicate as well. And I'm just curious, is there any aspect of show business that you particularly want to satirize in future episodes?
What do I want to satirize?
What do I want to stir?
I don't know, because like we're finishing writing season 3 right now, so all my answers, I'm like, we've been doing them, I guess. I don't know. What's the answer, Sarah?
I know. I was trying to think.
It's so weird. I guess my honest answer, which is weird now, is like awards culture. You know what I mean? That's like a weird answer to give during this, but like awards culture is fascinating to me.
Are you kidding me? We're an awards site. That's the most brilliant answer you could give.
I know, but I'm like, we did it a little bit in the last season too, of Brooke trying to get 30 under 30. But that is fascinating to me. And sometimes we parody things that feel close to the vest of things we've gone through or experienced ourselves. And so a lot of stories that Carey and Brooke go through mimic a version of something we've gone through in promoting the other two, weirdly. So that is interesting to me, because it is an industry. It's a whole side of making things. The promotion of the thing you've made is interesting to me.
Yeah, we're exploring some like press stuff in general this season that I'm excited about, because our main characters are finally in a position where they might be able to do press. So we've been able to now like sort of explore a whole new like level because they have risen to it. which is fun.
Yeah. And also another thing that we maybe talked about that we're interested in is the idea of, now that Carey is getting more confident in his sexuality, can that become bad? You know what I mean? Like being like, I'm confident in my sexuality. Like, I like my sexuality. I can use my sexuality. I'm gonna like become bad and use it for bad reasons. You know what I mean? Or like I'm gonna, the way like corporations commodify being gay. Like Carey's like, maybe I can. You know, that type of thing is interesting to me.
Yeah, totally.
One of the other wonderful things about this past season is we got further development of the character of Curtis, Carey's old work friend, played by Brandon Scott Jones. And what was it like to develop that character further for this season?
I know we love their relationship, and we're doing even more this season, which is exciting. But we just love Brandon. We know him so well, and we feel like their relationship is so crucial and so like central to Carey and Carey's story. He's such a bounce board for him. We felt like such a nice character for Carey to lose sight of when he's complaining about his life, of like, there is this person who's been by your side this whole time that you are now taking for granted, and not reading the room is what Curtis says, like read the room, when Carey's complaining about how his career isn't far enough. And it's nice to have a character that we can have gut check Carey, because Carey's our lead, and we're so swept up in how Carey's feeling about himself that it was nice to have this character to say what the audience is thinking, what we are thinking, where it's like, Carey, snap out of it. You're not hearing yourself. You're not seeing yourself the way that other people are seeing you. Which is the theme that we kind of explore with Brooke's story too. She's not really seeing herself the way that other people are seeing her, which is like as a powerful woman. And we liked being able to just add more to their dynamic, because there is a friendship that's many years old, and you need to sort of have that person in your life to snap you out of it, to get to be honest, to be real. And Brandon's great. He's so funny and so grounded and the best. And so
yeah, he's just so funny. So we just were like, let's follow what's working. You know, we like him. He's always funny in season 1. So we were like, let's make him more of season 2. And he was in our writer's room for season 2 as well. And he forced these stories down our throats. No, it's just like, he's so funny. So we're like, when you start a room, you're like, what do you like? What's working? What do you want to see more of? And he was always one of those people. So yeah.
And now that you have 2 seasons under your belt, I'm curious, and I'll pose to you, Chris, is there like a comedic moment from either season 1 or 2 that you look at it and you go, and you feel like really proud, like I'm really proud of of coming up with this?
That's what I'm proud of.
Well, I actually prepared a list. No, I'm kidding. It is truly so gross to say that, to answer a question. I think the thing I'll say, I mean, I guess I will just say my true thing is I really like this storyline in episode 2 of season 2, where Carey walks around a twink and a daddy thinking they're a father and son, trying to basically impress his own dead father. Like his own dead father never really came around. So this is a version of his real his father. I can make this man think that I'm normal. And by extension, I can make my dad who's dead think I'm normal. And I like it because it's like, it's using the typical hijinks of like a sitcom for like weirder, darker, gayer purposes than you're used to seeing. It's like Three's Company, sitcom-y hijinks, Friends hijinks, you know? And I don't know, I just like the moment at the end when the dad, when he just says, I wish my dad thought I was normal. And he says, you seem pretty normal to me. And then touches him and kisses him on the mouth. And Carey's like, what? It's just like a weird, I don't know. I like the alchemy of that. It's funny, but like fucked up and sad.
Do I do one?
Oh, yes, please.
And then I want to go again.
Say more, yeah. Can we just make the rest of this us bragging?
Yeah, what a great question this is.
I really liked how the 5th episode turned out, the baptism episode. I just thought the premise of that was so hearty, and I really liked how it was like our characters really towing with morality to get what they both really want. Are we willing to sacrifice this to get this thing that we've been craving, or we've been driving for, we've been like working our asses off for a season and a half? And I liked that it was sort of like a bizarro bottle episode. I just really I thought the premise of that was fun, and their performances really like carried the premise through. I liked how that turned out, even though it was the worst, hardest episode we've ever shot. So that maybe that's part of it, where I'm like, it was hard, so it was good now, and now I think it's even better than it was because we just made it through without dying.
Well, Chris and Sarah, thank you so much for joining us. We wish you all the best over this award season and with season 3. And to all of our viewers, don't forget to like this video, smash that subscribe button, and go to goldderby.com and make your Emmy predictions. Thanks so much, guys.
Thank you, Charlie. Thank you so much.